Strap in, this is a bit mad. Is Zovaal the actual mega mind giga brain bad guy, the most of that in the history of bad guys? Yes and no. You see, something in Warcraft Sylvanas is a complete mind blow that basically makes you think, no, there is no way they can seriously say that that happened. Bullshit. And then I thought a bit about the Primus. And then a few things clicked. The jailer may indeed be the ultimate 18-dimensional mastermind, but actually more likely, he can just see the future. So if he can see the future, then how did he not see us defeating him? Well, I want you to think about the fight with Grand Magistrix Elisand in the Nighthold, and with that in mind, let's go. One of the things we learn in the book is that Sylvanas was not fully on Team Jailer until the end of Legion. So here is what happened. When Sylvanas leapt off Icecrown Citadel and died, she ends up meeting the Jailer. Now this is something that Blizzard clearly did not plan as of Edge of Night, the original short story, but the book adds new material around these events. So in this meeting, the Jailer gives her 5 prophecies. And the thing to remember is, she gets these 5 prophecies, and also, the bits of the Shadowlands that she has seen are the worst bits, right? You know, loved ones being coldly separated by the Arbiter, the various horrible afterlives that you may experience. So she is not a fan of any of this stuff. She's not a fan of where she's going to end up. And that means that while Sylvanas is on Team Sylvanas, not Team Jailer at this stage, and indeed for the next few years, she was very much primed to look out for these certain prophecies coming true. So, what are these prophecies? Well, they are that the Legion would return, that she would step out of the shadows and lead, that a sword will pierce the heart of the world, that she will hold the blood of the world, and that she will basically, defeat a king and pierce the veil. So yes, in and around this time, at the end of Wrath of the Lich King, the Jailer was able to tell Sylvanas that the Legion expansion would happen. That she would become War Chief, Sargeras would stab the planet, that she would use Azerite and eventually shatter the Veil and defeat Bolvar. And he knew all of this years before it happened. So what are the implications of this? Well, he knew somehow that a lot of extremely unlikely events would happen. So Legion only happened because we closed the Dark Portal on the AU Draenor side, and the only way that we could do that was by freeing Gul'dan at the start of Warlords of Draenor, because they were basically, the Iron Horde were using him as a battery. And that set into motion events that led to Gul'dan traveling to Azeroth, to the Tomb of Sargeras, starting the Legion invasion. So Zovaal then just predicted everything. That Vol'jin would die, the Horde would accept Sylvanas, the very words Muzala would say. Our war on Argus, that would be successful, and that the Jailer would stab but not destroy Azeroth. How could he predict that? I mean, the Army of the Light got hammered at the start of the Argus patch. We defeated Argus just in the nick of time as well. Plus, what was Sargeras even doing in Azeroth? Because he only stabbed her once he was caught out. What was his original plan? Of course, Zovaal's whole plan to cause the Anima Drought, that was predicated on us getting far enough to fight Argus and being able to defeat him. Which wasn't a terribly likely set of circumstances, was it? These are all improbable events that we made happen because we're very cool and we borrowed a lot of power. To know that Legion would come was a safe bet. I mean, we players had prophesized that. Rathian had prophesized that whenever the, spark soul thingy of Aman'Thul entered him for a bit in MoP. But what about everything else? Is Zovaal that smart, or is there another explanation? One that lets him see the future but not see his own defeat? Here's the weird thing. There bloody well is. Canonically, the Primus is a master of all things war. Seriously, this guy is essentially the universe's master of strategy and tactics. He's so cool, so undefeatable, etc, etc, etc. Was he always like that? Well, actually, no. That was always his purpose. But the lore, the canon, is that he gained his wisdom through observational experience via time. Oh shit, the plot thickens. So here's a quote from the Steve. It is said that the Primus sought out an ally who could show him the infinite timeways, which he used to watch the same battle play out over and over again. And Steve goes on, but that's basically the point. Hard confirmation. The Primus did all of his training by basically having access to the timeways. Now, if the Primus had this knowledge, and Zovaal managed to capture the Primus, did Zovaal have access to this knowledge? I mean, how the hell else would he be able to prophesize the whole Legion expansion happening so clearly to Sylvanas long before it actually happened? It all basically makes me wonder. Time is strange in the Shadowlands. So could that play a part in this? And just who the hell is the Primus's mysterious ally who gave them access to the timeways? I mean, whoever they are, they're probably on the side of the first ones. Now, time is a part of Arcane, as far as we understand. So, Amenthul, is there something going on there? Was the battle the Primus watched fought by mortals? Or was it something more primal from a before time? These are all big questions. What did the Primus trade for that power? What did he do in return for access to the timeways? Because I immediately think of bargains like Odin's whenever he traded his eye with who turned out to be Muzala. Either way, this Primus situation is, I think, just about the only way that Zovaal predicting everything actually makes sense. Perhaps he accessed the Rune Carver's knowledge, or used him to gain access to whoever was involved with these timeways. Now, the thing you might be thinking here is, okay, that sounds fine, but if he could see the future, how couldn't he see us defeating him? Massive plot hole, very stupid. Simple. You're special. I'm special. We're all special. And the Legion expansion has established this. This is a small line that many missed, but here it is.
In all the possible futures I scried, I did not foresee one in which you were victorious. I wonder, will you defeat the Legion? Will you fail? Time eddies about you in fits and starts. Nothing is certain.
Alison's mastery of time is said to have rivaled the Bronze Dragons. That's according to Khadgar. The Nightwell was empowered or connected to the Eye of Amenthul, which is, of course, Amenthul, the time-associated leader of the Titan Pantheon. So that she could not see her defeat at our hands tells us something about us, that we are the unknown quantity. And it's funny, that Korthia Weekly is even called Shaping Fate. It's kind of on the money. So we elude time in some way. The clear implication here is that we are the element that can't be predicted. Much like how FF14's Warrior of Light could not be predicted by Alexander, we are the tip of Fate's spear, the ones who are strong enough to actually carve a new path. Something makes it so that those with access to time cannot see the intersection of us and them. Is this a technical thing that we do in the future, right? Somehow future us makes it so it's like that? Or is this quite simply reflective of our key position in the narrative as major movers and shakers? My theory is simply that we're special, that we defy fate. Think of all the unique things that now are canonical about the player character, like the connection to Azeroth. In a cosmos comprised of fundamental forces smashing their orthodoxies together, we're the ones who cut through the bullshit. And I think that's why Alison could not see us defeating her, and I think that's why Zovaal, when he got access to the timeways, he could see the Legion expansion happen, he could see all of these things, but he couldn't see what would happen when our path would cross his. Much like with Elisand. If time magic almost happens from the perspective of he who casts it, then I suppose that would actually make a great deal of sense. But Zovaal would, however, have seen everything up to his defeat, meaning that he will have seen enough to be able to prophesize the future to Sylvanas, the very future that actually did come to pass. Okay, there you go, tied up in a neat bow. Or is it? Because you might have thought this has been a bit of a weird loopy video, but no, it's about to get crazy. There had been speculation that Elisand couldn't really see the future right because of Legion trickery, or someone's trickery. So what if it was done by the Dreadlords? I mean, Tichondrius is in the Nightwell? Kinda makes sense, you know? some jiggery-pokery, get Suramar to join up, help the invasion. But what if those are the very same Dreadlords that of course serve Zovaal, but actually serve their creator, Denathrius? Which would explain quite a lot. What if they are connected to all of this time stuff and hid Zovaal's defeat at our hands from him? And it's all another bloody scheme. You could even say that there was lore to support this. Really, I know it sounds mad, but this guy is Thalkiel. He's this Eridar dickhead who ends up getting turned into a weapon. He's one of the Legion artifacts. Now here's what he says to the Warlock after Elisand's defeat. Her attempts to control time's flow are futile. Subtle forces work against her, ones far more powerful than she could ever imagine. Subtle, powerful forces? Oh, I wonder. But you might think, Thalkiel is just an Eridar skull. Clearly he serves the Legion. What would he know about Zovaal? Well, do you remember who Thalkiel's previous wielder was? It was Mephistroth, the Dreadlord who commanded Legion forces on the Broken Shore, and is, and I quote, second only to Tichondrius and Anathrian. So if Thalkiel was with him, and I mean Thalkiel is like a bit of a mega genius in his own lore, and Mephistroth of course is a high up Dreadlord who, well, you know, nominally on the face of it serves the Legion, but really serves Zovaal, but perhaps really actually even also serves Sire Denathrius, then is it completely mad to say that Thalkiel meant something specific when he talked about subtle forces working against Elisand? And there's a few implications from that theory, right? It, you know, is basically that these Dreadlords are trying to make the Legion expansion come to pass in line with Zovaal's prophecies and all of that stuff. But, you know, through whatever access they've got, they kind of hide a few things from Zovaal, but Zovaal is so arrogant that he believes they fully serve him, when it turns out actually, you know, Denathrius has been, you know, playing the part of servile ally, but in reality Denathrius is really the bad guy. I mean, come on, he seems so suspicious in that Zovaal death cinematic, doesn't he? And if you're to continue that idea of it just being the Dreadlords making the prophecy come to pass, then, I mean, Aphrosabi did make canon the absurd idea of just one Legion across all timelines. And of course there were Dreadlords and Warlords of Draenor. Makes you think. So, you know, possible, it's fun to talk about, but probably not great, and probably not the way the Blizzard will make things. So that's basically the big theories. My big question then is, who is this time ally? Like, what do they want? Who are they? Why did they help the Primus? And what of the future could they actually see? So who do you think it was, and basically why? Now that's it for today's dose of pure madness. This video is one of those ones that just kind of hit me in the face, fully formed a few days ago, right when I just couldn't get the idea. You know, I couldn't get around the idea of Zovaal predicting so much at that point in time. I just couldn't make it fit. And then I thought, hang on, the Primus. There's something to do with time with him. And then, you know, we do the research. Oh yeah, there's a mysterious time ally, so if Zovaal has access to that, then actually it makes the whole bloody thing fit. Maybe that could have been a cool story if it was in the game, but alas, it isn't. I guess you could also just say that time flows strangely in the Shadowlands. I would then think that there's a part of Torghast that's called the Loom of Fates. So we got the Loom of Fates in Torghast. BFA establishes the time weaving. It's all gone a bit mad, but if you want a very non-insane theory to all of this, it would basically just be that Torghast can, via whatever the hell's up with the Loom of Fates, which is where we fight Fatescribe, basically give the jailer access to information that only a Shadowlands being in a place like Torghast could possibly have. So there's a bunch of theories, some of them more insane than others. I thought it was pretty fun to put together. I hope you enjoyed it. But that's it for me. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.